Hello, everyone. Today is January the 11th, and I am currently accompanied by Shopify Rebellion's FakeGod, the new top laner of the new org in the LCS. Hello to you.
Hello.
It's really nice to have you here. I know you have had quite the story in the LCS and also in the NACL, so really nice to hear from you today and just ask a few questions about your return to the LCS.
Yeah.
All right. So first of all, I would like to ask you, how did your off season go? Obviously, a lot of players this split were impacted by the changes to the LCS, notably moving down to 8 teams. And I would like to know if this affected you at all. Were there any moments of uncertainty in your off season?
For me, it was pretty uneventful. Basically, I just moved to Korea to one, meet with some of my family in Korea, and then two, to also try to play in some of the Korean solo queue. And my off season for teams was basically just Sam, the coach,
Hmm.
messaging me like, "Hey, do you have a team?" Like, no. Like, do you want to play for Shopify? And I was like, "Oh, you sure?" And that was basically it. So
Yeah,
it was basically like that for like the whole off season. So I wasn't too impacted. Yeah, I wasn't too impacted by the number of teams going down from 10 to 8. I didn't realize that would even happen in the first place, so that was a shock to me.
did they contact you like very early in the off season, basically?
Yeah, it was like it was when I was in Korea basically. And
Hmm.
I went to Korea like 3 months early. It was near the start of September, I believe, or somewhere around that.
An uneventful off season is oftentimes much better than a very
Yeah.
eventful one.
It was a good off season.
Yeah. Next up, I would like to ask, do you have any thoughts on the LCS decision to move to live patches next year?
Um, I think it'll feel a lot better because a lot of the times the l- the the live patch would just get updated, but we would still be scrimming on the previous patch. So
Hmm.
it would be a lot more difficult to play for solo queue patch or to practice on solo queue after scrims, get some reps in because the game would just be different, which is something that's pretty unique to esports in general. Because if you're playing like a physical sport, it's not like the ball is now there's now two balls on the field or anything, and you have to like play with that. But I do think if there's something that's really strong or something like similar that comes up in the new patches because we're playing right away, it might become an issue in terms of like bugs or just having to ban it on red side because they'll just pick it and have like a super strong pick. But besides that, I really like the change.
To expand onto this as well, talking about the game itself, what do you think of the current meta? How do you see the meta pretty much in top lane, and do you think it favors you? Is it a play style that you like pretty much?
I think the meta right now is more isolated for top lane, and I'm not sure what class is better off for it. Like, I don't know if tanks are better off for it or if, like, bruisers are better off for it right now, or even,
Hmm.
like, maybe some AP champions like Rumble and Kennen. But in general, it's the laning phase got extended a lot more because the Rift Herald only spawns at 14 minutes and up. So what happened before was that it would spawn, like, between 8 to 14, and sometimes the top lane would just be over before 14 minutes because we would want to use Herald to break tower plates and
Hmm.
the whole tower would just be gone. So then there's no laning phase. It's not even 1v1. But now that phase has got extended a lot more. So I just think champs that are good 1v1 generally and are strong by themselves in lane will be a lot more proud. But I don't know what class will rise above the rest right now. And beyond that, it's pretty much the same. It's just side lanes, TP fights. I don't know if split pushers are better off too, but the grubs changes will help that because if you have like 6 grubs, and you like hit a tower, and you're like a split push champ, you're gonna break it in like 5 seconds. So that part could be very strong.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's a lot of uncertainty about the meta right now. We're gonna have to see pretty much how it evolves. There's a
Yeah,
lot of different points of view, and I mean, you can't really know until officials take place, basically. In any
yeah.
case. All right. Last year, you were in the NACL with Cloud9 Challengers first, and later with Disguise as well. Could you describe your time there and the things you think you improved the most on since your last time in the LCS, basically?
Uh, my time in C9s, my time in both teams were honestly pretty nice. Basically, well, my mindset was like going in the start of the last year basically was just I'm just gonna like I didn't expect to get a second chance so fast because of how I tried to like leave the scene. So when C9 picked me up for their academy team, I was super happy because I pictured them as like one of the best academy teams. So I just wanted to just do my best and make sure I don't like waste this chance that I got. And that went over to my gameplay a bit. I was just trying to play for myself a lot more and just be my own person, I suppose. Like just rely on myself to be able to like carry and win lane. So I would say I might have went like a little too much in that area because a slight problem in the start of the split was actually no, that was for DSG, but I wasn't focusing as much as like the mid game macro and like team stuff, but I was like really hard focused on the 1v1 and making sure I know how to deal with someone in my lane trying to like just win it and make sure like I don't lose too much if that happens. That was kind of long, but basically I was just focusing on lane and just focusing on like myself and making sure that I'm not like relying on other people to like teach me and stuff because that was a big issue I think I had for myself. I would try to ask others, like other coaches that I had about their thoughts on my laning phase, even though it was just me and it's my role. And to summarize, like I just learned to rely on myself more for issue or for matters in top lane. And it was pretty much the same for like C9, C and DSG. That same mindset I carried over. And
Yeah, I
just
think in the past people said that you were pretty good at team play, especially, but maybe that you had some like shortcomings in it, like maybe.
I would say like in the past I would be able to follow up on other people's calls really well. Like I would like be like a super selfless player in a sense, but the bad part is like I wouldn't like make the calls myself and I would be as independent. But if someone else were to make a plan and ask me to do something to build on that plan, I would be able to execute that really well. So that's probably why they remember the team fights. I mean, I also remember them too. I remember just playing team fights really well with my team and being able to follow up on someone else's calls.
To move on to the next question, obviously, last time you were in the LCS with Dignitas was maybe not the best time, let's say. Some people think you got put in a tough spot. Some others think that maybe your level at the time was not up to par. Um, what do you think happened with your last LCS team? And also, what will you be doing this time in order not to have a repeat of your time with Dignitas, basically?
I don't think I was really put into a tough spot. I just think that honestly, I don't think I was ready for. mm, I think that players that are rookies that come up really fast need one of two things. Basically, like they need to have a really good learning environment, or they need to be really independent and be able to evolve on their own. And for me, I think I would say I just lacked both. So I wasn't able to rise up on my time on Dig to get to the top level because we did do decently on Dig for the first years, or like my first year, I suppose, but it wasn't enough to break into the top team's level. So I think for me, I just when I think back, I mostly think that if I was a better player, I don't think it would have been completely like that. So for me, I just want to make sure that I keep focusing on myself and continuously trying to evolve and make sure that I don't repeat the same mistakes that I did my last time in LCS and just keep getting better and making sure that I don't tilt and like I'm a good team player and I just work on all the shortcomings that may come up in scrims and stage.
I think at the moment most people are looking like at the top four of the league mainly. A lot of people think that there's a divide between the top four and the bottom four teams. I would like to ask to continue on that question as well. Do you think that Shopify Rebellion has what it takes to make it into that top four block, basically?
I think that we do, and because I'm here, I want to believe that we can, because I will make us into the top four if we're not.
The fake god of the top lane just gonna turn into the real god this year, maybe.
Yeah, just name change. But nah, I probably won't. I was considering name changing, but I there's too much related to my name that there's too many memories and
Mm-hmm.
stuff that I've actually like grown to like this name now. 'Cause this name was like made when I was like 13 after like Faker won Worlds probably, so it was like fresh in my mind. But I like it now. It'll be funny to meet to like first Faker if possible with this name, because I met him in like Champs queue, but not like in person or anything.
Would you say that your goal this year is to go international again? Or well, not again, I guess. I don't think
Not again.
you were there.
No, no, I have not. My goal my goal here is just to make sure I perform to the level I want to and go from there.
Mhm.
Then I can start thinking of what place I want to be, like first place, hopefully. Go to international.
So right now the goal is just to pretty much show the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a good way to summarize it.
Just one last question, maybe. I think your journey in the pro scene was quite an inspiring one for most people because you came in first as a very exciting rookie, then you had your LCS time, which ended up a bit in a dud, I guess, and then you worked your way back up through the NACL again, and now you're back in the LCS. Um, what would you recommend to someone that's trying to make it to the LCS, pretty much to be able to have a journey as good as yours, basically?
There's a lot of advice that I could give, but it might be too long. Because I would say even for myself, I didn't rely on like one singular piece of advice. It was just a lot of thoughts that went through my head as I kept playing. But I'll try to like give a brief outline of the most important ones that I had. I'll say one of them is like don't worry about the past and or don't worry about the future and like don't have lingering regrets about the past because that's something I used to do a lot. Like if I had like a bad split, I would be thinking about it continuously and just like the moments that happened and like if what could I have done better, but it was kind of in a negative way. Like I think it's fine to like look over the past and see what you could have done better, but just continuously like being in regret over it is not a good way to prepare yourself for the next step that you have to take. And then don't worry about the future is also similar to like I didn't want to stress over like what would lay in the future for me if I played bad or like if we didn't win this match, like oh this is gonna be so bad if I lose this for like next year or something. Like I don't know. I try not to like worry about any of that and just focus on the present, which is like what I did like when I was playing on when I came back to playing NACL and I was like in C9 C. I didn't think like oh and I gotta like work my way back up or anything. I was just like okay, I just want to play well and just have fun with it, you know, a little bit, and then see what happens then.
No, I mean that's a really good piece of advice. I mean,
I mean, oh, one other thing would also be like to try not to like stress over the winning or losing part as much. Like it's a it was a lot of stress when I was just like thinking about that part, but lately it's just been focusing on the present and then making sure like I play well and having a little fun with it, and it's been going pretty well so far.
okay, so we'll close it out now, but just one last thing before we go. Is there any team or player that you are excited to be facing this year?
Um, There's not really like a specific player, I would say. I'm just excited to play on the LCS stage again and just see how far I can go. So I would say like C9. I think C9 are probably the best team, so I'm excited to play against them.
Hot take then. Spring Split, where is Shopify Rebellion ending?
At least top 3.
Okay, at least top
At
three.
least top 3. Right now, at least top 3. Later, I'll say top 1. It's fine.
Okay, perfect. That's great. Well, in any case, FakeGod, thank you very much for spending this time today to talk to me. I hope that you have a great year for your return to the LCS. And if you have anything to say to the fans before we go, feel free.
Thanks for the fans who've kept up with me and still support me. Thank you. I'll I'll just try my best, and I hope you can keep supporting me and the team and the rest of the team, all my teammates.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much. And for our viewers, you can always check out our channels for more esports content, and we will see you in the next interview.